So in the past year, I've shifted my entire career from XR into AI. And while that has been a major bummer because my heart is still in XR, I have been able to immerse myself in AI tooling and designing for AI. Now, if you're interested in the difference between designing with AI or for AI, link up above to an interesting video I made. But ultimately, designing with AI has made me not only a better designer for product, but also for XR and other aspects of my creative life. Now, the panic still sets in for me that AI is coming quickly and it's going to take over everything. And while I'm burnt out on AI hype and doomerism, the change is coming and it's coming fast. Now, I'm making a new video coming up called The Death of Design and Craft. So if you're interested in how AI will kill the idea of craft, let me know with a comment and link down below. But today I really want to focus on Google's Gemma and Astra. These two tools are going to be shifting how our entire product world works and how we make a living. So let's get into that. Okay, so Google just announced Gemma and Astra, and these are two new AI models that are being predominantly housed on mobile devices, at least from what I can tell. And the goal of these products is to blend the physical reality with the digital. Now, Google and other companies are doing this as well with augmented reality, but essentially at the end of the day, those are just different ways of giving information and gaining context. Now, today I want to watch this one demo of Project Astra, and I want you to see a couple of different things. First, I want you to pay attention to the forms of context that are being used in this demo. Next, I want you to understand how the user navigates around their device. How much focus are they putting on the device versus how much of the focus they're putting on the real world? And finally, I want you to start thinking about what this will mean for your career as a product designer or a creative. Cool. So with that, let's watch this video and rip it apart.
I'm here with the latest research prototype of Project Astra, and we're going to see how it can help me fix my bike. Hey, go online and look for a user's manual for a Huffy mountain bike.
I have found a user manual for you. What would you like to know about it?
Okay, cool. Now scroll until you find the section about the brakes.
Sure thing. Looking for that page now.
I think I stripped this screw. Can you go on YouTube and find a video for how to fix that?
Of course. I'm opening YouTube now. This looks like a good video.
Place a rubber band over the head of the screw.
Oh, nice.
Press down
Nice.
firmly.
Okay, so what we initially saw here is multiple different types of inputs. The first input is voice. Obviously, everyone thinks voice is the answer for everything. It's not, but in this case, it's very, very useful. The other part is that it's using different forms of context from the web and from YouTube. Now, if we scroll back to here, what we'll see is that the user is actually not looking and navigating through a PDF application or through YouTube. It's being automatically done by Gemini or Gemma or Astra. I think Astra. Yeah, Astra. And the reason why this is important is because the user no longer needs to understand what application to use or how to navigate an application. The AI does that automatically. Now, this will have major ramifications, which we'll talk about in a little bit, about what this means for products in general, as well as design. So let's continue.
Can you go through my emails with the bike shop and find which size hex nut I need?
Sure. According to the email from Bicycle Habitat, you need a 3/8" hex nut for your sprocket. I've highlighted the correct bin for you.
Okay, so this is actually quite interesting. What we see here is three different forms of inputs. We have voice, we have email, and we have image. Now the user is using another input, which is called implicit input. And this means he's asking a broad question without having a firm understanding of like what to ask, but he is expecting an explicit output, meaning he asks a kind of a weird ethereal question, but desires a firm and exact answer. Now, this is incredibly difficult, and this is why Apple at the moment is so far behind in AI. But again, voice, email, image, implicit, explicit, all of these things are super important for you to understand as you start designing for AI. Let's continue.
It seems like I need a spare tension screw. Can you call the nearest bike shop and see what they have in stock?
Yep. Calling them now. I'll get back to you with what they have in stock.
I think my brake pads are wearing down. Can you check the manual again and see if it talks about them anywhere?
According to the manual, if you look on page
Hey.
24,
Do you want to get lunch?
Yeah, give me 5 minutes. Can you finish what you were saying?
as I was saying, if you look on page 24, section 2, you'll see how to replace the brake pads.
Hey, any updates on that call?
Yep, I just got off of the bike shop. They confirmed they have your tension screw in stock. Would you like me to place a pickup order?
Okay, So what we see here is something completely insane. It's using not only voice, but also internet and phone call audio from another person as forms of context. It is a explicit input to an explicit output. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, all of these things are coming together in real time, and someone comes into the room and disrupts everything, and then it will be able to pull the context of what it was talking about before and execute. And while he's working on all of these other things in his shop, you have AI working behind the scenes, navigating through the application and finding the answers for him. This is absolutely insane. So let's continue to the final part of this video, shall we?
Could you show me some examples of dog baskets I can put on my bike?
Sure, I can help you with that. Just give me a moment. Here are some options. I think Zuka would look really great in these.
Okay, so basically what it just showed is a million different things. At the end, they executed on memory and voice and e-commerce. And of course, you're gonna have to get e-commerce in here because your salespeople will be pissed if you didn't. But ultimately, this is an insane reality of where we're headed. And it means so much about what it means to be a creative and a designer, or even what it means to have a business in this new ecosystem. Well, let's talk about that. Okay, so all of these things may seem kind of crazy and weird, but let's pick them apart and understand exactly what the hell this means for us. For the most part, branching flows and how designers UX to get people to navigate around an application, they're dead, they're done. And pretty soon AI will be able to do those flows for us anyway. Now, the bigger thing that comes out of this is that the future of applications are going to be dead. Now, I've been talking about this for a while, but right now we're seeing a lot of retrofitting. And what retrofitting means is that we are taking an existing ancient operating system and having an agent go and execute on that operating system. Now, soon AI will be built into the kernel of an operating system. These tasks and all of these applications will be no longer exist, and now they'll just be segmented services. What I also wanted to talk about here is that the importance of context. Context is king. Vision, voice, text, you name it. These are all different forms of contextual inputs that are needed to be used in a design to create an application or a service. But this also means that the visual UI is now secondary or tertiary to the user experience, which could actually do a lot of damage to the product design field, at least for people's jobs. But this also means that the rise of XR is going to be blowing up as well, because inside of this video, he is walking around a phone pointed at things, but when you have AR glasses on, you can just look at something and it has 5 different forms of context. So the new form of UX is going to be multimodal, ambient, and context driven. Again, everything is about context, how to use context, how to utilize context. And this is how you're going to survive as a designer, is really understanding context well. There is not one true form of context. It is up to you as a designer to utilize what you can to solve the problem. So what does this mean for application businesses? Well, if you have a company like Spotify, Airbnb, your companies are going to be dead. In 5 years, I could be theoretically creating my own Figma within 5 minutes that I don't have to pay Figma for. I can be creating applications, I can create services that are basically done like that. So no longer will you need these large companies to make all of these things. You're going to be able to grab a bunch of different services and agents and do them for you. And this is absolutely horrific, but also very exciting, because it makes creativity somewhat commoditized, in which anyone can take the tools and create really cool things. Is there going to be slop? Absolutely. Are teams going to shrink? Yes. But soon we're going to start seeing a future of groups of 5 to 20 people creating their own businesses, having financial mobility and economic and creative freedom. And that to me is super excited. So as a designer, if you want to survive, what do you have to master? Well, first and foremost, you have to understand and master design systems. Design system thinking is how basically all of these applications or services are going to be created. So have a firm understanding of design system theory, foundations. Then you also have to understand contextual thinking. Figure out how to make products that understand different forms of context outside of the swipe, pinch, and zoom. Think about sight, think about audio, think about everything. Just utilize everything and try to use that as much as possible. And then if you're going to be playing with UI a bit, understand what is too much and what can be solved by other forms of input besides visual UI. So what kind of tools should you be really using right now? Well, you really need to understand tools like Cursor and how to vibe code. Now, there's things like Lovable and all these other tools, but fundamentally I kind of find those worthless when it comes down to tools like Cursor. Yes, you're going to have to understand some technical things, but with ChatGPT, that barrier is gone. You have to understand how things are built and how to utilize different APIs into your products. And it's not as bad as it sounds. It's not that bad. Also, if you're not using ChatGPT right now or Claude or these other services, start using them and start auditing them as fast as possible. Now, outside of that, I would also start trying to get into different forms of creativity. Now, getting to game engines like Unity and Unreal are great places to start upping your game to be a much more diverse designer. As in the future, you're going to have to wear a lot of different hats and have a lot of different skills, and those take time to master. But with AI, it's going to make it a lot easier to master them. It still will take a long time, but it's just going to be a lot faster. Also, check out things like Comfy UI as well. Comfy UI teaches you the foundations of inputs and the guts of AI. Don't use things like Korea and all these other tools. Like, those things are fine, but if you want to understand and build up the value of context and all that stuff, use Comfy UI. Okay, so now this all may sound really scary to you, and if you are scared, skeptical, excited, whatever, let me know with a comment down below. But fundamentally, as a creative soul, if you want to survive in the next couple years, if not the next 5 years, you're going to have to be constantly reinventing yourself and learning new tools and how to expand your creativity. This is already happening. It's not a theoretical. I'm building the things, but fundamentally, it's going to happen if you want to or not. So that's just something we're going to have to get accustomed to. Now, if you're interested in learning all these tools, or if you have questions, join the Mainly Human Design Discord down below. Now, a couple times a week, I'm in there world building, prototyping XR design, and exploring AI capabilities. So if you want to drop in, have a question, have a conversation, I love talking with people and just getting into the shit. So again, if you like this, let me know, and I'll catch you next time. Take care, plus minus. Peace.